Okay, so I just got out of Batman v Superman, and I haven't started driving home yet. I might have to take the scenic route to get home to kind of talk about this one. The goal of this was, to get these reviews in pretty quickly so you wouldn't have to listen to me ramble, but I think for the film like this, there's a lot you kind of have to go over, so I might have to go around the block a few times to totally get it done. I wasn't originally planning on even seeing this movie in the theaters. I'm at a point in life where I can kind of tell now when a film just isn't going to interest me or when I'm not going to be the target audience. And if I'm curious about something like that, then I'll wait until, Netflix or something has it and I'll watch it there. For example, don't expect to see a video like this for Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles 2 or the new Star Trek or any of that, because, I should say Star Trek. I don't consider those movies Star Trek movies. Because I have no interest in seeing them for whatever reason. And, that's a conversation for a different day. And this film is in that category. I had no interest in seeing it. But what happened was this movie got such across the board bad reviews from everybody. I haven't read or seen a single review that said anything good about this film. And it got to this point, for me at least, where I was like, I kind of felt like I had to see it to judge for myself whether or not it really was this bad, or whether or not this was another example of critics, and to be fair, and I'm a part of this, so I'm not just excluding myself, of nerd culture just finding a victim and jumping on it. Because we have a tendency to do that. When we like something, we hold it up as the Holy Grail. When we don't like something, then we take great pride in ripping it apart mercilessly. I can totally understand if someone didn't enjoy Spider-Man 3 or X-Men 3 or Wolverine. A lot of X-Men movies in that list, but I can understand if you didn't like those. But to hear the absolute raw hatred these films get, you would think that the producers took the time and energy to make sure the closing credits of each of those films was just insulting each audience member's mother, person by person. We really, look at the Star Wars prequels. We're still bitching about those, almost 15 years later. So, sometimes I just wonder, how much of that is actually justified. So I had to kind of come see this movie and make the distinction for myself. And I see that traffic is now starting to loosen up a little bit, so now I'm going to actually start the car and start driving. So we'll start off, and I'll answer the question. And again, I'll say there's probably going to be spoilers in this, so if you don't want to know things, then turn away, because I'm probably going to say, give away some stuff. So let's answer the big question first. Is this the pile of dog turds that people are making it out to be? And if I am being objective, I have to say no. It is not a god-awful, stink pile, horrible film. Whoa, speed bump there. Sorry about that. Is it a good movie? Definitely not. I think there is a good movie hidden in there somewhere. I think there are good aspects to it, ironically. I wasn't expecting to like anything about it, but I think there are some good parts to it and good pieces, but the whole just doesn't work. I'm going to be a little different than everybody else. I'm going to start with some good things. I think probably the best thing about the movie, and I think funny enough, is the thing that everybody thought was going to be the worst. I think Ben Affleck made a pretty good Batman. And I remember when he got cast and just the outpouring of whining that happened. Again, from the nerd community, just looking for anything to jump on. And really, he was one of the better actors in the film, you know? I remember thinking at the time, like, I almost felt like he was not so much stunt casting, but he was scapegoat casting. Like, the producers were hedging their bets that if the movie sucked, which, that they'd have this actor that everybody was pissed was cast in the first place to blame it on. And, I think he does, he does a good job. Ben Affleck is a decent actor. I think he's a better director than he ever was an actor. But, he turns in a decent role as Batman here. I don't think there's anything I can really complain about. I think a lot of the other actors did a decent job. I like Amy Adams a lot. I haven't really seen her in a lot of movies that I like, but I like her. And I think if she was in a different Superman movie, she'd be a great Lois Lane. But I think as it is, she was so useless in this film that, it renders it mute. But I think she's a good Lois Lane. And I like, at least I think I like, this young woman who they have playing Wonder Woman. I think I like her, but I can't be positive because she really doesn't do much, and she's not really a character so much as she is a cameo trailer for a different movie, But she has a good look. I like that she has an accent. I think it's supposed to be a Greek accent, which would make sense for Wonder Woman. So I like that she has an accent and she's not just kind of another, white person. So she's got kind of an exotic look and everything. So she was good. I wish I could tell you how I feel about this guy playing Superman. I don't know if it's just him that has absolutely no charisma, or if it's the way he's directed that has no charisma. But, and that is the biggest problem with this movie, is it has the exact same problems that Man of Steel had, in that it is an absolutely bleak, joyless, tasteless dredge of watching slow motion shots and dream sequences. There's no joy here. When I say tasteless, I don't mean like they're walking around in blackface. I mean, it's like a piece of chewing gum that you've been chewing for a long time and all the flavor is gone and you're just rolling this gob of stuff around in your mouth. It has nothing to it that makes you, stand up and cheer. I have to address that elephant in the room, and that is, comparing it to the Marvel movies. Because this, really, let's be honest, this is DC and Warner Brother trying so hard to compete with Disney and Marvel. And it's not just shutting the barn door after the horse has gotten out. This is shutting the barn door after the horse has gotten out, won the Kentucky Derby, come back, been put out to stud, and then its child went and won the Kentucky Derby. You've lost this battle, guys. I'm sorry. Marvel is the king of these things for the time being, and you just got to learn to accept it. But they're trying so hard to make this thing epic. The score of this movie is so, pardon me, it is so goddamn obnoxious because everything, boom, boom, they want you to just know that everything is so epic. And, they have so many, Zack Snyder, God, I used to like him as a director. I like Watchmen, ironically, but this movie, so many damn slow motion shots, so many damn shots of, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent looking just so, they're trying so hard to convince you that this is the epic that you've been promised, that they forget to actually, just let it be epic. And anyway, I got off on a rant there, but I was talking about the guy who plays Superman. This is a weird thing to pick up on. This is a very weird thing to obsess about. But Superman does not smile once in this movie. I think he does like a partial smile at the very end when he tells Lois Lane, I love you. You know, there's like a little smile, but I couldn't tell if it was him smiling or her holding his face and pushing his face back. He doesn't smile. Batman smiles in this movie. Wonder Woman smiles. Superman does not smile once. And I know that's a weird thing to be obsessing about. But, again, there's no joy in this. It's just like Man of Steel in that it's 2 hours of Superman brooding about, oh, I'm so sad. Oh, do I belong here? Not a single smile. Now, say what you want. This is the biggest difference between the Marvel movies and the DC films. This is the biggest thing. The Marvel movies seem to always remember that at their core, they are making movies about comic books, about characters in brightly colored underwear who go out and beat up on other characters in brightly colored underwear. There is a sense of fun in those movies, a sense of joy, and they manage to do that while keeping, the seriousness and the belief that, there are stakes and things are important, but they never lose sight of the fun of it all. And DC is so paranoid about being fun, and don't give me, and I can hear some of you out there, don't give me well, Batman has to be serious, and Batman has to be dark and brooding. I would debate that fact, but let's say for a second, yes, you're right. Yes, you're absolutely right. Batman has got to be dark and brooding. Superman does not. And I'm not even that big of a Superman fan, but even I know Superman is supposed to be the beacon. They call him the big blue Boy Scout. Again, no joy. No joy in this. Oh, there's, I'm happy because there's a stop sign coming up. I have to show you this. There's this whole montage of Superman going around and saving people. And every time they cut to him and he's saving people, he's making this face. He's Superman saving people. He looks like me when I had to go to work at Hertz Rent-A-Car. I mean, come on, give me something. This film, it feels like it was based less off of a Superman or Batman comic and more like it was based off a Sylvia Plath poem. It's so depressing and dismal to a point where you don't give a damn about anything. Like, I just wanted it to end. And that's another thing I gotta say about the directing of this movie. And again, this goes back to Man of Steel. Again, one of my big problems with Man of Steel, aside from the tone, was that visually, there was nothing new or original or, the director, Zack Snyder, had not one original thought. And you have a canvas here to paint on that you can do some really great things. And he just did the same boring stuff that either A, he's done in the past, or B, some other director has done. Spoiler alert, there you go. Doomsday shows up at the end. And Doomsday, as opposed to having him look like he does in the comic or coming up with a new look for him or anything, no, he looks like one of the cave trolls from Lord of the Rings with the smushed in face and everything. I mean, and whoever did the sound design, he sounds like one of those big bat things from the last Godzilla film. Not an original thought in there, aside from make it epic. I can complain about other things that other people have complained about too. I mean, yeah, the guy playing Lex Luthor it's awful. It is so, like I say, it looks like they were trying to make him the Joker. Other critics have said that. So it's not just my thought, but it looks like they were trying so hard to make him the Joker, and it's so bad. When I think of the great people who have played Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, Michael Rosenbaum, or whatever, I can't remember, Rosenberg, I think, from Smallville. I didn't even like Smallville, but I thought he was a great Lex Luthor. Clancy Brown, who did the voice in the Batman Superman animated series. Great dignity, refinement. This guy, I don't know. Like I said, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking we need a new Joker. And so they just had him act like the Joker, and it was awful. It was so out of place, and he was so, it just didn't work. I'm beating a dead horse here because everybody's bitched about this guy, so I think I'm just piling on at a certain point. I thought I had more, but I don't know how much more I can really get into without just crossing over. Again, I don't think it was as bad as I think we were led to believe, but is it good? Hell no. Not by a long shot. And what's funny is that this is going to make money. It has made money. And I think one of our big tip-offs that this was not going to be the greatest film of all time is that they released it in March. Isn't this the kind of film you try to release during the summer? But no, and I'll tell you why. Because they didn't want this to be anywhere near Captain America. DC, they can do their characters right. They have done their characters right. What's ironic is that they have not done them right in movies, But on TV, they're fantastic. This whole film is trying to get you geared up for, a Justice League movie and this whole DC cinematic universe that you just leave going, I don't care about any of it. I am more interested, and I would be more excited if I found out that they were going to bring Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman onto Arrow and Flash and do a Justice League thing there on TV. That would get me excited. This just makes me so tired and bored. Oh, my goodness, it just makes you so tired and bored. If I was them, and again, they've made their money, but I think you should just scrap these movies. I really do. And just go, you know what? We're ruling the TV right now between Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, all good to decent shows, to really good. They run the gamut, but there's not a bad one in the lot. And it would be much better for them, I think, to just stick with that and rule that. Let this Marvel thing kind of die down. And then come back with these movies and try again fresh. Try again with directors who actually care about the source material, or, there's a couple things I want to touch on just because I'm getting to the apartment, so I'm almost done here. But I love that they made it a point. One of the big criticisms I remember from Man of Steel was everybody was how all the destruction and all these innocent bystanders dying and everybody So for the big climactic battles, they made it a point. Just go, oh, we're here at the dock area where nobody's there. Oh, he's on a deserted island. We're fine. It's like suddenly the battles were taking place in Angel Grove, where it's nothing but abandoned warehouses. And kudos to anybody out there who gets that reference. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking there's other things I wanted to say and other things I wanted to get into as it relates to this film, and I really just can't think of any right now. I've ranted, I've raved, I've said my piece. And I honestly don't know how much of it is just going to be me restating things that have already been said in other reviews. So I guess it comes down to, should you go see this movie? I honestly have to say no, because even though it's not a great film, it's more just to the point that it is such a joyless romp. You get no happiness out of seeing this movie. You know, and again, this is something else all the other critics have harped about. Is that, the title Batman v Superman. You know how long that actually takes place? It's about 2 to 3 minutes. It's not this huge epic battle that we've been led to believe. And maybe it's our fault, because the title is Batman v Superman, and maybe we've all been misinterpreting that meant versus, and instead it actually means Batman visits Superman. Because that happens. They visit each other. I don't know if the versus thing is really accurate. And again, they build it up, and not only is it a short battle, like I can almost handle it if it was a short battle, if they did something original and good with it. It's these two tossing each other around in this abandoned building for 2 minutes, and then, of course, we get every critic's talking about this, the stupid thing where Batman's gonna destroy Superman, and Superman screams out, "Martha!" And Batman, "Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?" Because Batman's mother was Martha too, and Superman's mother, who's been kidnapped by Lex Luthor, is, if he's kidnapped by Lois Lane, that'd be a funnier movie. Her name is Martha, and that suddenly makes them friends. It's like, so you find out that this guy that you hate, or that you have all this anger towards, his mother is named the same thing as your mother, and that suddenly makes you best friends. You're just like, oh, well, I keep having that Mystery Science Theater quote as, we're friends now. Why? So that was a thing. But again, so it's a short battle, but again, when they get up to it, it's unoriginal, and it's so bleak and boring. Compare it to, again, sorry to compare it. Some people say it's apples and oranges, but it's the truth. I'm talking way past the point I was thinking I was going to, so I'm sorry for that. You got to compare it to, like, Thor versus Iron Man in the Avengers. I remember watching that, and I felt like I was at a wrestling match. I was gunned up. Yeah, because you could tell that the filmmaker was having fun with it, the actors were having fun with it, the characters, despite kind of what was going on, there was a fun element to it. Again, it was a wrestling match. You're sitting there waving your sign, going, yeah. You cheered the big spots, and compare that to this, and there's no comparison. It's a drab, dull, Freddy versus Jason, for everybody who remembers that movie, that had a better climactic fight scene than this. I mean, again, and I think that's the big problem. I'm beating the dead horse. I'm just repeating myself. I need to just cut this off and go inside. But that's the problem. It's a joyless movie. There's nothing fun. There's nothing to hold on to. It's just bleak, tasteless, and pardon me, any of my young viewers who are watching, but so up its own ass about how epic it is that it forgets to be entertaining. So everyone has said it. Now, I'm going to go on record and say it's not the travesty people are making it out to be. There are good elements, and I think in the hands of a better director and better writers could have made a better movie, but in the end, it all comes to the same thing. It's a slog, it's a pain to sit through, and yeah, if you avoid it. So that's me. Sorry that this one took a lot longer than I expected, but I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks. Bye.